Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on disneyplus.com. A quick news update for you guys on the future of Doctor Who. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So this weekend, Disney and the BBC released the season 2 finale of Doctor Who, and well, let's get into some spoilers, unfortunately. Ncuti Gatwa's time as the Doctor are now over, because at the end of the show, he ended up regenerating. However, there's a little bit of a twist there where he kind of turned into a new female Doctor who's going to be played by Billie Piper, who was originally playing Rose in the series about 20 years ago and was a companion of Christopher Eccleston and also David Tennant's version of the Doctor, which really obviously has confused the internets. Saw loads of pictures and videos from some of the cinemas here in the UK where they were showing that season finale. People were going crazy for it. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit like, what's going on here? Can we not like move forward instead of keep kind of going back to the past? But this one's going to be very interesting. There was also a little interesting thing as well at the end of the episode, where instead of saying introducing Billie Piper as the Doctor, it just said introducing Billie Piper. Maybe she's not going to be the Doctor for very long. Maybe it will just be for some specials. Maybe it's just for a season. Who knows? The future does look a little bit funny for this one. There was a little bit of a thing on there with the official press release from the BBC kind of stating, that she's back, but, what's going on. So there's a little bit of leaning in on that. But obviously the big thing really is Ncuti Gatwa is now over. His time is no longer going to be doing Doctor Who. Now, apparently this was his decision a while ago, that he wanted to kind of just do the 2 seasons and get out. Now, a lot of Doctors tend to only do a couple of seasons, but it looks like he was just kind of jumping in, jumping out. One of the important things to remember with Doctor Who was that they actually filmed seasons 1 and season 2 very close together. In fact, they'd already were kind of filming the season finale before the show even aired on Disney Plus around the world. So I do kind of wonder if this was something that they planned, or whether they did some reshoots and decided what to do, because they kind of could have done the whole regeneration thing, and then from there they could have decided just to change it at the end to Billie Piper. That could have been something they just did, like a week ago. We wouldn't necessarily know. But it is a shame, I think, to see Ncuti Gatwa leave, because I really enjoyed his time as the Doctor. I liked that flamboyant kind of and I liked him being a bit more emotional. I liked his take on the Doctor. I think it's been one of the best ones, I think, since David Tennant. I definitely put him high up there. I know some people aren't keen on him, and kind of there's the whole thing of what's been going on with the show, but I have really enjoyed his time as a Doctor. Some of the stories haven't been great, and some of the writing and some of the special effects, etc. But for me, I've really enjoyed him as the Doctor. And I was a little bit disappointed that they kind of, killed him off and they've replaced him. Now that's something that's very different with Doctor Who that you don't tend to get with other shows. It's been running now for over 60 years. It is an iconic British show, and it is very unique in the fact that every time an actor wants to leave, they can go, because they just regenerate with a brand new face, a brand new character, and that's why we've had so many different versions of the Doctor, and they can just keep running along. It's ideal. It's a bit like, unlike like James Bond or, Batman or Spider-Man, where they keep changing actors. It's kind of, you have a continuous flow of a storyline, but they can just keep changing actors. It's perfect for television, and it's why, Doctors change. There's always a kind of big question of like, how long they're going to be around. Like I said, I would have liked Ncuti to be around a little bit longer. Billie Piper stuff, I'm not sure where it's going to go. I'm sure it's going to pull in an audience. Looking forward to seeing it. Now, I am convinced they're going to end up doing some kind of combination with her and David Tennant returning, because he's still alive. Because remember, they split into 2 Doctors at the end of the 60th anniversary specials. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if that comes together. And I mean, there was even a little bit of a joke about the fact of him keep turning up in places. And he just seems to love doing it. So I definitely think that could be something where they're going. So yeah, Doctor Who is going to be returning. It will be continuing on. Now, I've been saying for a while that I'm not convinced that BBC and Disney will continue their working relationship, with Disney financing some of the show. I've always said that the Doctor Who will continue with the BBC. They'll either find another partner or will just do it themselves. It's been running for 60 years. Disney does not own it. They only license it, and they only originally kind of invested in 2 seasons, some specials, and a brand new series called The War Between the Land and the Sea, which I'm going to get into that one in a minute. But yeah, so Doctor Who will continue. Whether or not the show goes on a little bit of a pause for a year or so while they sort out what they're doing with filming, etc. like that, who knows? It could be back by next year. We just don't know. And whether or not, again, they continue with the BBC and Disney working together, that's going to be a case, I think, until we see the release of this new limited series, which is supposed to be coming soon to the BBC here in the UK and on Disney Plus around the world. Now, at the finale, just after it, they did air the new trailer for the upcoming The War Between the Land and the Sea. And this show tells the story of what happens when a fearsome and ancient species emerges from the ocean, dramatically revealing themselves to humanity. An international crisis is triggered. With the entire population at risk, units step into action as the land and the sea wage war. So this is a new little spin-off series. Whether or not it gets big enough views, who knows? We have seen them do spin-off series in the past. For example, the Sarah Jane Adventures, but also the excellent Torchwood. If you have never seen that one, check it out. That was where they kind of took Doctor Who a little bit more of an adult area, and I loved that spin-off show. That was amazing. So this one could be really good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It looks like it's got a good cast in there. You've got a lot of the favourite characters that we've seen in Unit. They've kind of been set up for Doctor Who. This almost feels a little bit like this could be like a Doctor Who series placeholder for next year. Maybe they just want to drop that one in there. The fact they've dropped the trailer for it so quickly, I do wonder whether or not it might drop later this year, because it's still quite a way away. But this almost feels like a stopgap to maybe fill in until they get this next Doctor Who series. Whether or not we hear in the future about what Disney and BBC are going to do, it's going to depend, I think, on how well that series does. And we're not probably going to hear anything about it until that limited series drops onto Disney Plus and BBC. They are not going to do any big announcements now. So lots of speculation. I did seem to like confuse a lot of people, because people are going, I thought it was cancelled. It's like, this is Doctor Who, and it's hard to explain sometimes. This is a very different franchise and series than anything else that's out there. First off, it's owned by the BBC, which is a government-owned body. It's very different. It's not a corporate entity in the same way that Disney or Warner Brothers or anyone like that is. It works different, and Doctor Who makes them a lot of money with merchandise, and they continue to keep reinventing it. Now, as I said, whether or not it goes on a pause for a year or so, and then they kind of come back with it, or they just come back with a couple of specials, and then they kind of get ready for a new Doctor to take over from Billie Piper in a year or two, that wouldn't surprise me. They might want to do that. And again, as I said, whether or not Disney are involved in it, who knows? But right now, you can watch the latest 2 seasons of Doctor Who, along with the 60th anniversary and some of the Christmas specials on Disney Plus right now around the world, and on the BBC in the UK. But let me know what you thought of the season finale of Doctor Who. Where do you think it's going? What's going to happen? As I said, I enjoyed his time. I thought the finale was a little bit hit and miss. There were some times where I liked what they were doing. Sometimes it was not. I wasn't too sure about bringing in Belinda at all now. She seemed like we brought her in, took her for around the world. We then had the baby from the Space Babies brought in, and it's all interconnected. It didn't really make a lot of sense, but it's like, why didn't we just do all of that with Rose? We didn't really need Belinda for all of that. They could have done something, I don't know, didn't quite get that whole aspect to it. Again, bringing back that big villain and just kind of killing him off. It's like, well, that could have been nice to do something else with that one. Seen some speculation that the reason Doctor Who was being replaced by Billie Piper is because she was the last one to kind of connect with the inside of the TARDIS many years ago, and that's why they've done that. So who knows what's going on there. But yeah, very, very, very interesting show. There was a few moments that was a bit like, really? I mean, I did think the way that they stretched out the finale, you know, like he started to regenerate and he kind of had loads and loads of time. I would have liked that to have been a bit quicker, just to kind of do it and get it over with. But they went with that one there. It was also interesting that they didn't kind of show a kind of him saying goodbye to Ruby in the same way that I thought. He kind of did that obviously with his daughter and with Belinda, but didn't really do that with sort of Millie's character. So I'm surprised they didn't do that one. But yeah, let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? I liked it. My wife was like, yeah, didn't just like, what the hell was that rubbish? I like it. Doctor Who's kind of got a special place in my heart. I've enjoyed it ever since as far back as I can remember, when Sylvester McCoy was kind of, I think it was like my first Doctor, maybe in some of the Bakers on the repeats kind of thing. So I've been a big fan for a long time. Looking forward to seeing where they're going. I'm definitely going to be in. I'm definitely going to be watching this new spin-off series when it drops. But let me know what you thought of all this in the comments below. Go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.